Good morning everybody, and welcome to sunny Lithgow, although it's a bit of a grey winter's day here in the southern hemisphere and 7 degrees Celsius. Now you're probably wondering why I'm focusing there on my Model T. It's just that I've got a new car to introduce you to, and it's behind me. So I'll turn around and I'll introduce you to Dame Vera Velox. She's a 1953 Vauxhall Velox. Now, because I'm in Australia, this is actually a car that was built by Holden, General Motors Holden here in Australia, from kits. And if I go in here, you'll see there that silver plaque is actually a Holden, General Motors Holden's body tag. She's a 4-door car. I'll go for a quick walk around and we'll come back to that engine bay. I've got it open because it's too hard for me to open single-handed when I'm holding a camera. So we're 4 doors. Now, sliding windows actually on these, that's what these are for. So they slide up and down and then they lock when they're in the closed position, and you lock the doors that locks the windows. So here she is. She's Olympic green is her colour. She was restored some years ago, very well done. I've only just bought her, and I've bought her in this condition. It has modern flashing indicators on her. They're the brake lights and parking lights, but it still has its semaphore pop-out blinkers here. I'll show you on the other side when we get round. It's a bit easier to reach the steering wheel. And here, so this is the actual door lock. And as I said, it locks the windows. So the window's currently closed. So you slide that, oops, wrong way, all that way over there. The window is now locked and it's locked. And you've this got a key here in this fixed portion of the handle to unlock it. The other trick you can do with these is you can put them down just a little bit, lock the car, and then they are locked in this open position. So if it's a hot day, and we do get them even in Lithgow, you can then lock the window in the open position and keep some air in. So we've got large door pockets, both front doors, armrest for the passenger, but not for the driver. I suppose they figure that you're busy with the steering wheel. I'll come back to the interior and we'll go through that in a minute. So go a closer look around the front of it, won't we? So the lovely little Art Deco Velox name. Sorry for my shadow in there. Its sun's decided to come out a little bit. And the big, thick chrome grille. It's enormous. Now on the later models, so this is 53, 54 looked the same as this one, but had a standard alligator opening bonnet from the front. And then 55s, they put a much more streamlined type grille in, but I actually like this grille, plus it's on the car I've got, so of course I've got to like it. The interesting thing with this bonnet, so I've got it open, that's the actual lever, so that folds all the way back in. You pull it out, bend it over, and that's your twist to unlock it in this mechanism here. And as you can see on the other side, it's already locked in. So it can be open from either side or unlock both sides and lift the bonnet right off. 2-man job, heavy, solid metal, this thing. You know, it's not going anywhere. Funny enough, even though it might be solid metal, its weight is just a touch over 1,000 kilos. So 1 ton, 1 metric ton. Around the back here, oh, this is, I love this. Look at this tiny little thing. That's the fuel filler. So you push the back of it, and boom, your fuel filler's open. And then you just go, click, and it's down, shut again. Absolutely lovely. So this came fitted with a tow bar, or as some people call them, tow hitches. We tend not to in Australia, they're tow bars, but same thing. And then you have your boot release, and you have quite a good size boot. You have a tyre pump that side. Now it is a more modern version because the old one would have had it. This side we have got the jack, and I've got a bottle of valve saver for the engine. So you've got the jack, and so like modern cars, the fuel tank is not under the boot as they used to be at this era. It's actually behind that panel there. But here we have a little unclippable section, and you've got your other tools. Wheel brace, ratchet lever to work the top of the jack, and I've got a few spare hoses, 2 top hoses. There's a bottom hose there and a fan belt. So, and that's a little sort of felty covered box, and then we just clip that back. Then you've got this screw release in the boot floor, which if I go right down here, you'll see that the spare wheel is under there. So that's where that is. So you wind that down, close this up, and we'll go into the interior. Hey, got it. So as I showed you earlier, we've got these fixed door handles. You hold, and then your thumb just goes down onto there. First thing you notice is a right-hand side brake lever, so that you unobstructed bench. For some reason they've put holes in this modern carpet, but that plug there is underneath, that is the filler for the brake reservoir. And then we've got down the floor there, accelerator, brake, clutch, which are pendant pedals that push into the floor. Just get myself in. You've got this lovely steering wheel, big steering wheel, fixed centre, it doesn't move. Blinkers here, right, left, they're not on at the moment because the ignition's off. Speedo, fuel, temperature, generator light, oil light, and a tiny little red light up in the top there for your high beams. High beam is the usual, move my car, switch on the floor, just there. It's got a modern radio in it, which I'll get rid of because I don't use them anyway. And then there should be a blanking piece which is ribbed the same as this that fits in there. If it had the original accessory radio, which I have seen in another ute, or actually in a ute version of this, a utility pickup version of this, it's an Air Chief, General Motors Air Chief radio. The radio panel sits there, and then what should be 3, that's my blinker warning one there. These 3 are the 3 controls for the radio. Anyway, I don't have it, and as I said, I'll get rid of that. So down here we have our ignition key, which is just a standard twist, and it's on. You then have your airflow. So it's off at the moment, open it up, and it's just cold air from the front. This car has no heater. Heaters were optional extras. You then have a wash button, which if it was connected, would be connected to a vacuum off the engine to pump the water onto the windscreen. It's not there. Again, that's an accessory, and believe me, this car hasn't got any of them. This is your wiper one. Now the wipers on these, commonly of this era and earlier, wipers were vacuum driven off the engine vacuum, which are pretty rubbish because at idle they're going demented, and as soon as you put your foot on to the accelerator, they stop. This one's different. It's cable driven, and it's cable driven off the speedo drive, and it has a little clutch system in it. So the way you activate it is you push the lever up and it comes slightly out, and that engages the clutch and the wipers move. So the faster you're going, the faster the wipers are going, and at idle they're quite slow, which is fine. I drove, when I picked the car up only yesterday, I drove it from up in the Blue Mountains west of Sydney back to my place in Lithgow, and it was raining and the wipers worked well. Left-hand one's pretty crappy, it needs a new blade. This one's almost falling out, so I'll get that sorted. But no, they worked well. And then to stop the wiper, all you have to do is you just quickly push that back in until it clicks and it disengages the little clutch. This slide here would be the heater, but it doesn't have one. And this is very much an aftermarket cigarette lighter. There'd usually be a blanking plug there. This has got a modern black one. I've just ordered off eBay a chrome handled one. Unfortunately, the chrome handled one has a red end of it that says launch missiles, but that's all right. I think that'll be a bit of a fun thing here. So it'll be chrome with a red button in the middle which says launch missiles. You have your choke underneath here, pull out choke. This one is your panel light switch. It's a rheostat. Now either that's the instrument panels, instrument gauges. At the moment, either the globe's gone or the rheostat's gone, so I don't seem to have any instrument lights. That's not a worry. And this is a pull-out starter. So with the ignition on, pull that out, she starts. And then here we have our glove box, which is quite a deep glove box. Got a bit of rubbish in it that came with the car, various gaskets and things, only little ones. And then where we've got our little Vauxhall Art Deco jet engine, that would be grilled the same as here, across in there. And as you can see from this side, it's a removable panel, and that is where the speaker should be. Now, at this moment, I've got a speaker under here, which I'll leave. I've got a small black one in that door panel and a matching black one on the driver's side. I will leave both of those. The radio can go, but the speakers can stay. They're fine, they're unobtrusive. We have an ashtray on this side, an ashtray on this side, because everybody smoked in those days. Also one in the middle of the back of the seat I'm leaning on. We have our two sun visors, which are quite nice little things. They work all right. Rear vision mirror. And we have an interior light which has its own little switch. There are no courtesy door switches on these. Again, I think they were later they introduced a slightly higher spec level, so to give you a bit of the history. So in the Vauxhalls, they had in this same body a 4-cylinder version of this engine, and that is the Wyvern, and then the 6-cylinder, which is this one, the Velox. And then a couple of years later, they added another one called the Cresta. Now, all those were also trim levels. So the 4-cylinder Wyvern has less goodies in it. It doesn't have the door armrest. It doesn't have a few other bits and pieces. And then the Cresta model then had a few more things as well, which were available in this model as accessories. But yeah, as I said, this car doesn't have it. It did come originally. I've got the original sales receipt. I'll put a photo of that up there. It's very, very badly falling apart, but it's been put onto a board, so it's fairly stable now. And the car was bought brand new up in Newcastle, which is an hour and a half or so north of Sydney, in an area of Newcastle called Lambton, or New Lambton. It was bought from the dealer there, who were Vauxhall GM dealers, and we used to be in pounds, shillings and pence in those days until 14th of February 1966, and the car cost the princely sum of £1,178, 6 shillings and sixpence. And that was fully registered on the road. That included the registration, but that of course gave me the colour, which is Olympic green. It told me that the upholstery was green leather. The car also had a Venetians in the rear window, but I don't have those anymore, and at the moment I haven't been able to track down any. They are certainly still made for cars, and I've had them in other cars, and you can buy them new, but that particular supplier does not list Vauxhalls. So I don't know, I'll have to have a bit of a hunt around in that. We've got a few spits of rain here at the moment, so I don't know what it's going to do. It does come with this sun visor, but it's the mesh style, so you know it's quite good. I'm quite happy with that. So back in the engine compartment, not that there's much here. So we got a 6-cylinder engine. As I said, I think it's all up, it's 2262 cc's, 138 cubic inches. It's a straight 6 and quite modern for the day. So it's a square engine in that the bore and stroke are almost the same size. The bore is actually fractionally longer than the stroke, but basically the same size. So of course that means that the engine revs a lot more freer than the older English method, where the English had a system of taxing their vehicles per year, and it was based on a system called the RAC, the Royal Automobile Club formula, which tended to favour small bore long stroke engines. So engines before this period were pretty much all fairly thin bores, long stroke, and the reason they did that is, as I said, the tax system that was calculated on that, and that's why you'll see things like, you know, the Austin 7 horsepower. Well, it actually produced more than that. You know, an Austin 10 produces more than that, but that's the RAC rating. Because long stroke engines are not quite as revvy, but they tend to have massive low down torque. Though, believe me, this one is not exactly short on it. So I got very little here. The only thing I should point out, this bit here is the actual drive unit for the wipers, and you can see the cable coming down and going down, and it disappears down there. Actually, is it driven off the distributor? I'm not sure. My understanding is it's driven off the distributor, base of the distributor, but I can't actually see where it's going in there, so I'll have to do more research. So I might have lied on that one. You've got two massive horns over there. They're quite loud. They certainly people will know you're coming. I'm not going to do a hub nut and run the wipers because the engine's not going, but yes, there is a monstrous triangle of doom in the middle. But that's all right. I mean, it wipes the driver's side quite nicely, and once I replace this blade, it'll wipe the passenger side equally nicely, so that's all right. Otherwise, as I said, drove back yesterday in the rain, no issues at all. Now, there's another funny little thing that I saw the other day when I was first looking at this car, and we couldn't work out what it was. So I'll just show you this one here. So this piece here connected to this little rod, and there's another one there. What they actually are is a locking system for the bonnet. So they're in their unlock position now. They're a small, tiny little lever under the dash on each side, basically bent wire. It's a bit like the original chokes on the Model Ts, bit of bent wire. So when you put the bonnet down, you release this little bent wire, it gets popped back up because of its spring, and that locks the bonnet. So it's just lockable from the inside. Believe me, most people are not going to work out how to get it into it, so I don't think it's a major worry. So what else can we tell you about this little... Oh, trafficators. I was going to show you my trafficators, wasn't I? So we'll come around here. Just reach in and turn the ignition on. Cool, ignition's on, and if you see now, you've got your little left-hand ignition and right-hand oil warning. And then if I operate this lever on the top and we go, boom, got him. And it doesn't flash, but of course the modern ones do. So that's the trafficators. This is a self-cancelling system, so when you go around the corner, the lever will then return and we will get, boom. So that's it. That's it. So that's how they work. I'm glad they work. You know, it's a bit of a novelty, but I like them. So what else can we show you? What else have we got here? Let's have another walk around. I love this Velox. Absolutely looks brilliant. Just look at that. And these lovely little wheels with their big Vauxhall hubcaps. So, funny enough, a bit of a story on those tyres. So I was going all over them, myself and the friend of mine that was with me yesterday, went all over those looking for date codes. We could not find any. However, they're in absolutely perfect nick. The spare wheel has never been on the road and still has all the tiny little nipples all over it. But they're made in the USA, and it says metric. Don't tell the Americans that, they'll have a kittens. Imagine having a metric tyre. So it's a steel belted radial, they're 15-inch wheels. I think originally they're a 550 cross-ply 15-inch tyre. Fortunately it's got radials, and I would put radials on it anyway, even if it had the original ones. You know, we've got a lot of technology, we may as well use it. You've got little jacking points here behind these caps. So the jack goes on either side to lift it up. You saw the jack in the boot. And we've got, actually, you'll see if I can put this down by myself. What I'll do, I've got this camera on a little portable stand. So we'll just go and sit him over here for a second, and we'll do this. So I'll try not to block the camera. So you lift the bar out, clips up under here, hold it down like that, and then twist that around, back up, and it goes in. And a package is shipped. Oh, there you go. Okay, so mirrors would not have been original. There wouldn't have been any, but it just makes it handy. Beauty of a car like this, there's, you know, nothing blocking your vision, so you can see out of it. But we probably need to talk about these little trim pieces here. One on each side. We'll get the view from the front there. So what that is Vauxhall, right back at the beginning of the 20th century, end of the 19th century, their radiators, and the way people identified the cars was from the radiators, had a small flute in the top of each of the radiator. So this continued into the 50s. I think once they went to the PA series, Velox, the next models in the early 60s, end of the 50s, early 60s after these E series. Yes, I forgot to tell you, this is a Series E or an E series. They deleted these. So, but this is a tribute back to Vauxhall in the early days when it was a separate English company. Vauxhall was bought in the 1920s by General Motors, hence the reason why General Motors Holdens in Australia assembled them. But we have here, lovely big badge there, Vauxhall Motors Luton in England, and we have this nice little winged mascot here. Now I don't know, I doubt it's original. It was probably a period accessory, or it is a period accessory. Funny enough, when I picked the car up yesterday, I drove only to the next suburb in the Blue Mountains, to Blackheath, and we pulled over for coffee. And as we were having our coffee and we had to return to the car to have the coffee, as the cafe was actually closing, it was about 3:30 in the afternoon, I think, two guys walked up, and one of them said, "Oh, have you just bought this?" And he actually is a member of the Vauxhall Car Club, and of course had seen the car at the dealer. Most of them had, and plus I'd posted numerous photographs on the Vauxhall owners page of Australia on Facebook, showing the car that I bought but hadn't picked up yet. So yes, and he commented that the Bonnet emblem there, hood mascot for you American friends, is not an original one, or it's, I don't know. Anyway, I like it. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Suits the car, suits it all beautifully. Anyway, come on, let's think. What else have I got to show you? Now, one anomaly of this car, of course, is in the 50s there were no seatbelts, so of course I have no seatbelts in the front. And one of the reasons there are no seatbelts, although there are dowager straps. Now, people wonder, hang on, I'll get in. People wonder what these things are, but they are a strap to hold on to, and they were commonly known as dowager straps because you had your old dowager in the back seat onto them. You can't really fit seatbelts here because they would go through this B-pillar, and of course you have your trafficator sitting in here, so there's nowhere to mount them, but somebody has put them in the rear seats. So I have outboard ones, but oh, I've just noticed there's no buckles for them. They've probably fallen down. So the back seat gets an armrest. We'll go in there, centre armrest, and both sides. The back doors don't have the pockets, so this has got an armrest in here. Oh, I haven't pulled this down yet. She's a bugger. No, we won't pull it down, it's very stiff. So, yeah, the seat belts are under here. They've fallen down in here. I'm not going to pull them out. In fact, I'd probably take the seat belts out, frankly. You know, if they're not there, it doesn't require them by law to have them. So, that's about all, I think. I think we might wind that up there, and gives me time to get it all ready, and I'll try to remember to put the photograph of the original sales receipt. Anyway, thank you for that. Hope you all enjoyed it. Just a little bit of a look around my little Vauxhall, 53 Vauxhall Velox Series E, that, as I've christened, started with just Vera, and then I thought, Vera Lynn, so we called it Dame Vera Velox. Now I figure if Barry Humphries can knight his lady of mystery from Moonee Ponds in Melbourne, Dame Edna Everidge, I can do it with Vera the car. So that's why she's Vera. Anyway, or Dame Vera. Okay, thanks for that. See you later. Okay guys, a little addendum. I realised as I was watching back the main video that I hadn't actually shown you the rest of the controls. So we've got 4 more here. And these are pull buttons. Now, as I said, this car has no extras in it. So one of them, the first one is the fan, which is not connected to anything. The second one, fog light, again, not connected to anything. The third one is side, and then we've got headlight. Now, they are connected. So that's your side lights, your parking lights, and then your headlights, and you use them jointly. So you first turn on your side lights, and then you turn on your headlights. And you can see the headlight shining up there, and then you turn them off in the opposite way. First off with the head, then off with the side. So they're those bits. I realised, as I said, that I hadn't shown you those. And of course you've got your foot pedal down here to change from high to low beam. So that's all the rest of it. So two dummies and 2 genuine ones. Thanks for that. Okay, an addendum on the addendum, because I also forgot to show you the gears. So it's a 3-speed column shift gear lever, very simple. It is spring loaded to away from you, so you pull it towards you and down for first, push it up, and it will go back and then up again for second, straight down for third, and then reverse is where instead of going down to first, you go up to reverse, and that's it. Simple as that. I don't think I've forgotten anything else, otherwise I'll race out and make another little video. Anyway, there we go.